What's up everyone, this is Erica with Hooking You Up, and today I'm going to be showing you guys how to do the easiest boho festival top granny square you will ever do. I consider this tutorial a beginner friendly and it works up super quick once you get the hang of just a couple steps. So I used impeccable yarn from Michaels, which is super soft, kind of cotton-like texture. And this works up, like I said, it works up quick, and all it consists of is 8 granny squares put together in the form of a boho style top. And yeah, so let's get started. All right, you guys, so I already have my 7 squares here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. You are going to need a total of 8 to do this project, no matter what size you're planning on doing. I always like to have some completed, so this video isn't super long, but I am using impeccable yarn. This yarn you can get at Michaels, and it's super soft. I'm gonna be using the color white. I'm going to be using a 5.5 millimeter hook. You can use between a 5 and a 6.5 millimeter hook, whatever. And I have a pair of scissors. Now, I don't have one of these already made, so before we get started, you're going to see the final project in the beginning of this video. So it's going to kind of be backwards, but you guys get the gist. So I'm going to show you what the final product looks like, go over a few things, and then you're going to get started here. So I'm going to show you guys how I do the square. And once you master the square, it's just a basic granny square. So I would consider this beginner friendly. If you already know how to make a basic granny square, this is going to be the easiest boho festival top pattern you've ever thought of. So let's get started. I don't like how these skeins are because then it just makes a huge mess. I wish it just pulled out easily, but it doesn't. So we're going to start by making a slip knot. And I'm going to chain 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I am recording this part of the video in the evening time, so my lighting might be a little off, but you guys get the gist. So I just did a chain of 5, and I'm going to slip stitch in the first chain from the tail. So now I have a little tail here, my working yarn, and I have a nice little circle. I'm going to chain 2, and then I'm going to double crochet inside the hole. Okay, so now with that chain 2, you're gonna have a total of 2 double crochet right here. I'm going to chain 2, and I'm going to do 2 more double crochet in the center hole. Chain 2, 2 more. You're gonna want a total of 8 double crochet inside the hole. Chain 2, 2 more. And these will be your last 2 for a total of 8 double crochet. Chain 2, and then you're going to slip stitch on the top of that first double crochet. You're going to slip stitch in that first chain 1 space. Make sure it goes through both loops. And it's going to look a little funny right here, but you should have two chain 2s, 2 chain 2s, 2 chain 2s, 2 chain 2s for each corner, and then 2, 4, 6, 8 double crochet. So once you slip stitch in these 2 double crochet, you're going to chain 2, and now we are working our second row. So in order to make your size, I am making a size small medium, and I'm like a kind of on the large side B cup. So you basically, this is going to, it's just going to be like my other boho granny squares, if you've seen. So this is kind of what the top is going to look like. This is, the straps would be here. This would be the, let me add another square so you get the gist. So it's going to look like that. So in order to know how many, I made a total of 7 rows, and how I like to count them is diagonally. So I start with my very first beginning set of 8 square, and I just go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So I have 7 rows around. Again, I'm making a size small medium. So this would cover my chest, one side of my chest. This would cover the other side. So you want all your granny square pieces to be the same amount of rows around. So if you're on the smaller side, your cup would be smaller than this. If you're on the bigger side, I'm speaking about your chest. If you're more heavy set on the top, then you would have a bigger square. You would have more rows. So you want as many rows as this would cover your breast. So this is 1 breast, this is 2. Once you have enough rows where it covers your entire bust, you're going to make all your other size squares the same. Now, I know we all have different body types. The tops, you might have a heavy set top but a smaller waist. That's fine. This top is going to be super flowy and kind of, it's not going to be a fitted style top. So yeah, I don't know where I was getting with that. Anyways, so back to the project. So you're going to chain 2 at the start of each row. You're going to do 1 double crochet for a total of 2. Working in the round, all of them are going to be 2 sets. You're going to chain 2 for every corner. So now working your second corner, it's going to be different from your first corner. And I'm just going over the basic way to make a granny square. We're making our second corner for our second row. So we're going to do 2 sets of 2 double crochet with a chain 2 in between. Now when you're working your sides, we're only going to chain 1. So the only time that we chain 2 is when we're working the corners, which will be between the 2 sets. So you can see I just chained 1. Now I'm working my third corner, chain 2, and I know I'm going a little fast, but you're basically just repeating the same all the way around. So now I'm working my last corner. Chain 2. And chaining 1 on each side. You're going to chain 1 on each side as you make your rows going forward. So like I said, you're going to slip stitch in the top of the other side. Then you're going to slip stitch only in that first chain 1 space. Then you're going to chain 2, and now we're working our 3rd row. So I'm going to continue this until I have a total of 7 rows to match my other granny squares. Again, no matter what size you're making, you want a total of 8 granny squares. So I'm going to go ahead and finish this square, and then I'll meet you guys at the end to put them together. All right, you guys, once you have your 8 squares, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, we're going to line them up, is what I like to do before I sew in everything. Now, when you're lining them up, you want to make sure you can tell the difference between the front and the back, because they do look different, as you can see. This is the front side, this is the back side. So you want to make sure normally you'll know that the back side is the tail, whichever side has the tail, but you can usually tell. So just make sure that when you're putting your squares together, all sides are the right side in. That way you don't have a weird looking piece. So what I like to do is set it up as if I'm going to alright. So as you can see, I have the inside and the inside, and these are the 2 cup sizes, front and back. Okay. All right. And then these 2 last ones will be the side. Now I just fold corner to corner. Just like that. And then we line the corner up with the bottom of the breast. And it's going to be like that for both sides. So that's how your boho top is going to look. Now, how to connect them? I just sew these 2 flaps, these 2 flaps, these 2 flaps, these 2 flaps, and then I flip it over and I'll do the back side of these 2 flaps. And then you'll have your whole connection, and you'll have the inside of your boho done. So you can use a tapestry needle if that's easy for you. I'm just gonna go in and use my needle. So I am going to start with just one of the breasts. And you want to make sure it's all nice and lined up. So I'm going to find that first chain 1, and I like to just take the 2 sides, make sure they're all lined up, and that each hole is nice and each corner is nice and lined up, just like that, before I start sewing in the sides. So we're not gonna go through 2 and 2. We're not gonna go through 4. We're just going to go through 2 top ones. Might be a little hard to see, but just 1 and 1 on this side. Now we're working the chain 1 space. And you're going to do that all the way until you reach the other end. All right, so I finished one side and it's nice and even. Now you can either sew this other breast side, or I'm just gonna show you, since that side is easy, I'm just going to show you how I do this side, so it's not that confusing. So I usually like to fold wherever has a tail working end at the top. So I'm going to find a chain one space on the other side, and then I'm just going to pull that side up, again making sure that it's all nice and even, because if you made all the squares the same size, you'll have a nice even split. Okay, so now what I would do is flip this over, and I would work that back side just like this. So just to show you, you did the front, this is the cup, this is the back of the cup, and I'm going to sew this side together. Once I sew this side together, you'll see, and I sew this together, you'll see you'll have the inside. So we're gonna go ahead and sew all the sides, and then I'll meet you guys at the end for the straps and the fringe. All right, you guys, excuse me. All right, you guys, so once you guys have finished connecting all your squares, it'll look just like this. Okay, now what I like to do is just do a half double crochet in each stitch around the whole border and back on the other side, and then I like to do the sleeves. So I'm just going to show you how to do that quickly. We'll do this, I meant straps, not sleeves, but we'll do the boarding first. It's really simple. I start anywhere. I typically just start on one of the sides. I insert it in the top of one of the double crochets, chain one, let me see, chain one. I like to tie the back tail for added support, chain one again, and in each top of the half double crochet I'm going to work a half double crochet. So I'm going to skip that first chain one space and I'm going to half double crochet in the top of that second double crochet. Now there might be a little gap, that's okay. I'm going to skip every other chain one space. So I'm going to work in the next double crochet, and since I skipped that first one, I'm going to work under through the big hole that chain one space, and then I'm going to half double crochet. I'm going to skip this chain one space, then I'm going to work under this one, and you're going to keep up this same routine until you've reached all the way back around to the very first chain where we will then slip stitch. So once you get to the top, what I like to do is work one half double crochet, chain one, and then work a half double crochet in the top of that first double crochet on the top. And I'm going to do the same for each top where you'll have the two chain one spaces. So each top, these are where the straps are going to be. I'm going to work half double crochet underneath, chain one, and then half double crochet in the first or in the next double crochet top. So like I said, you're going to continue all the way down the middle, back up this cup, down the side. You're going to work one half double crochet in the little armpit crease. Then you're going to work towards the back side and continue down the back side of the cup. Same with this side. Back down, work one half double crochet in this armpit area, and then work your last couple of stitches and you'll end up right where you started. And then you're just going to slip stitch in the top of the first half double crochet. Then you can just weave in, tie these two tails, and then we'll be all set to work the sleeves. I don't know why I keep saying sleeves, I mean straps. So we'll do the straps afterwards. And I will meet you guys once we're ready to do the straps. All right, y'all, now that we've finished the border on both sides, makes it nice and even, we're gonna go ahead and do the straps. Straps are super easy. I'll review them and then I'll go over the fringe, and then you guys will finally be done. So how I like to do the straps is start from one side. So I'm going to bring my yarn. Okay, I'm going to make a slip knot. And I'm going to insert it. Let's see. So remember when I told you when we're making the border, we're going to do a half double crochet, chain one, half double crochet. So that chain one is going to be your very top of your strap. So we're going to work with just the outside. So as you can see, I have my chain one, and I'm going to work the outer side of the chain one. I'm going to bring my slip knot through and chain one. Then I'm going to tie that little tail in the back for added support. And what I like to do is make a chain that fits perfectly over my shoulder to the back side. That is, so I'm going to do a chain of 36. And doing these, so many of these boho tops, I have come to figure that 36 works for a lot of sizes. However, I know everyone's different. So in order to make your amount of straps, what I like to do is just make a chain of what you think will work. You can slip stitch it in the back and then put the whole top on and see how it sits on your shoulders. If it sits on your shoulders nice and your cleavage is nice and secure in the front, you can go ahead and continue on with finishing the strap. If you feel the strap is too loose and your top hangs low and you have a lot of cleavage showing, you can take off some stitches on the chain, or if you feel like the straps could be longer, then you can add more chain. But I usually like to start with a foundation of 35. So I'm actually going to do 36. So 1, 3, 4, 5. Okay, once I have 36, what I'm going to do is take it off my hook, flip my top over, and I'm going to find that same matching side. Again, we did half double crochet, chain one, half double crochet on the back side cups as well on both sides. So you just want to mimic the same side. Let me put this closer so you guys can really see what I'm doing. So you just want to mimic. You see I have that chain one right here. And then I have half double crochet, half double crochet. So I'm going to insert it on this side since that's the same side I started with my chain. Keeping the working yarn tight and over here, you're going to slip stitch it, making sure that your strap is nice and even on both sides. And then what I like to do while pulling this working yarn straight, I like to insert it, skipping that chain one. I'm going to insert it in that next half double crochet. Wrap my yarn around. Now this part, I'll show you on the other side. This part can be confusing, but if you do it really slow, it'll make sense. So it'll look a little weird at first. Now I'm going to work a single crochet back down my chain until I get to the other side, half double crochet. So I'm going to skip that very first chain right here, and I'm going to single crochet in the second chain, second stitch on the chain. I'm going to continue, and I'm pulling my working yarn as I work my way down. just to make it nice and even. So on each chain you're working all right, you guys, so I've worked most of my strap. I'm working the last two. So I'm going to also skip that first that first stitch that we did. And I'm going to skip that chain one right here. And I'm going to slip stitch in that half double crochet on the other side. And I'm going to cut off a good tail, pull through. And what I like to do is insert it and insert my hook, bring that tail that I just cut off through, and then you have it nice and even. So now, as you can see, I have a nice even strap. And so you want your foundation chain on the outer side. So I'm going to flip my work nice and pretty. You can weave in the ends inside at the very end. So I'm going to flip my work and I'm going to start and mimic the same exact thing I did. So finding that chain one at the top, I'm going to start on the right side, the outer side. I'm going to make a slip knot, insert my slip knot, chain one. I'm going to tie that back, make a chain of 36 or however many that you're going to need. Okay, made my chain of 36. Let me bring this up some more. Okay, now I flipped my work back so I can insert it. The same side. I'm going to pull through, making sure it's nice and even. We're going to skip that chain one space and holding this working yarn kind of tight, I'm going to slip my hook in that half double crochet space. I'm going to yarn over, insert. I'm going to skip that first stitch on the chain and I'm going to work one single crochet in the second chain, or the second stitch from the chain, pulling tight as I work my way around, and I'm going to continue making one single crochet in each stitch on the chain until I make it back to the other side. And I'm pulling my working yarn after each single crochet to make the strap nice and tight, because you don't want it too loose because it'll look weird. It'll be nice and straight if you keep it tight as you work your way. once you guys get towards the end, you're going to skip the first chain, the first stitch on the chain. You're going to slip stitch in that half double crochet on the other side of the chain 1 space. Okay, right here. Going to cut off, insert my hook. There you go. Alright, you guys, so we are almost done. This is so stretchy and nice. I don't know if I went over that, but I do want to remind you guys that this project is super stretchy. So you can make less stitches than usual because it's going to come out slightly bigger. I got my nice pretty straps, nice and even. All right, so now for the I'm gonna use my other yarn. Now for the fringe is super easy. What I do is I figure out what length. You can make your fringe super long or you can make it short. I'm going to just do a general size I normally do. And what I like to do is just how to kind of gauge is make a little loop chain like that. And I just kind of measure of how long it's going to be. So this is a perfect size I would do. Just going to cut it. And then I lay it out straight. And I just kind of line it up and cut as I go. And I do this until I have a bunch that will fit in each individual border. So how I insert it is super easy. I just, at the top of every double crochet, I just make sure it's nice and straight and even. I just bring both pieces through, yarn over, and there I go. For the chain 1 spaces, I go under, I actually go through the whole of the loop. And that's all I do. And I do it all the way, even in these creases right here. And I go all the way down, flip over, go all the way around until I have all of the border on both sides completed with fringe. So I'm gonna go ahead and do that, and then once you guys finish this, you guys are officially done. So I will show you guys the final product. All right, you guys, so once you finish the fringe, this will be your final product. Super cute, simple, easiest granny square boho festival top ever. Super stretchy. And the fringe is so soft. Impeccable Yarn by Michaels is super soft. The straps are nice and secure. And there you have it. So thank you guys so much for tuning in. I really hope that you guys enjoyed this tutorial. And if you did, please share with a friend, a craft buddy. Give this video a thumbs up. And so I know that you guys enjoyed it. And then Stay tuned for more tutorials. Go ahead and subscribe, and I will see you guys in the next tutorial. Bye.